Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like words were erased? Chapters removed before you were born? What if I told you that Genesis doesn't begin at the beginning? That before Adam walked in Eden, something else existed, something ancient, something powerful, something God never wanted you to remember. This isn't speculation. It's hidden in the text, buried beneath translations, veiled in the original Hebrew, and today you're going to see it. Because what existed before Adam wasn't just emptiness. It was a world, a kingdom, and it fell. If this already has your mind racing, do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel, because what you're about to hear, few are ready to accept. But you were meant to be here. Let's start where most people think it all begins. Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, the origin of all things. But then, verse 2, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. The earth was without form, not became, not turned into, was. But here's the secret they don't tell you in Sunday school. The original Hebrew doesn't say was, it says haya. And haya can mean was, or it can mean became. Do you see it now? The earth became without form. The earth became void, meaning it wasn't always that way. Meaning something happened, something between verse 1 and verse 2. This is called the gap, the silence between sentences, the breath between words. And in that gap, an entire world existed, a world that was destroyed, a world that was judged, a world that fell before humanity ever took its first breath. Think about it. If God created the heavens and the earth in verse 1, why is it formless and void in verse 2? Why is there sudden darkness? Why does the Spirit of God need to move upon the face of the waters as if something went terribly wrong? Because it did. There are ancient texts, Gnostic scrolls, mystical commentaries, Jewish oral traditions passed down in whispers. They speak of a first creation, a creation before Adam, a creation ruled not by man, but by angels. Before the garden, before the serpent, before the fall of humanity, there was the fall of heaven. You've heard the story. Lucifer, the morning star, the covering cherub, the angel of light who wanted to be God. Isaiah 14:12 says it clearly. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. Ezekiel 28 describes him walking among stones of fire, perfect in beauty, anointed and ordained, and then pride, and then rebellion, and then war. But here's what they don't tell you. That war didn't just happen in heaven. It happened here, on earth, before Genesis 1:2, before Adam was formed from dust. Lucifer didn't just fall from heaven. He ruled earth first. This planet was his throne, his garden, his kingdom. And when he fell, the earth fell with him. That's why it became without form. That's why darkness covered the face of the deep. That's why God had to remake creation in 6 days. He wasn't creating from nothing. He was restoring what had been destroyed. Pause for a moment. Let that settle in your spirit. If this is shaking something loose inside you, subscribe now, because we're going deeper. And you'll want to be here when we do. Now let's go further, into the ancient Jewish mysticism, into the Kabbalah, into the secret teachings of the rabbis. There's a concept called Tohu Va-Bohu, formless and void. In Hebrew mysticism, this phrase represents chaos, not the absence of something, but the ruin of something, the shattered remnants of a prior existence. The Zohar, one of the most sacred texts in Jewish mysticism, speaks of worlds before this one, worlds that God created and destroyed, worlds that could not hold his light, worlds that collapsed under the weight of divine glory. And one of those worlds was ruled by the angels, by the Watchers, by beings of fire and spirit who were given dominion over the earth before man ever existed. This is why the Bible says in Genesis 1:28 that God told Adam to replenish the earth. Not fill, replenish, meaning to fill again, to restore what was lost, to reclaim what had been taken. Adam wasn't the first ruler of this planet. He was the second, and the first fell into darkness. Let's talk about the angels, not the ones with harps and halos, the real ones, the ones that walked the earth in the time before time, the ones Genesis calls the sons of God. Genesis 6:1-4 gives us a glimpse. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Sons of God, not men, not humans, angels. And they came down, they mingled with humanity, they corrupted the bloodline, and they produced the Nephilim, giants, hybrids, abominations. But here's the part they leave out. This wasn't the first time. This wasn't the beginning of angelic rebellion. It was the echo of something older, something that happened before Adam, before the flood, before recorded history. The book of Enoch, removed from most Bibles but still quoted in Jude, speaks of 200 angels who descended on Mount Hermon. They made a pact, they swore an oath, and they came to earth not to serve, but to rule. They taught humanity forbidden knowledge, weapons, sorcery, astrology, cosmetics, seduction, the secrets of heaven brought to the dirt of earth, and the world became corrupt. But Enoch also speaks of something earlier, of angels who ruled before humanity, of thrones and dominions that existed when the earth was whole, when it was not yet formless, when it was a paradise under angelic stewardship. And when Lucifer rebelled, he took a third of those angels with him. Revelation 12:4 says his tail swept a third of the stars from heaven. Stars, angels, rulers of realms. And when they fell, the world fell with them. The earth became Tohu Va-Bohu, chaos, ruin, darkness. And God, in his mercy, didn't abandon it. He remade it. Stop. Breathe. If your spirit is stirring right now, don't keep this to yourself. Like this video, share it, subscribe, because this is only the beginning of the revelation, and you need to see the rest. Now let's go into the language itself, because buried in the Hebrew text are clues, breadcrumbs left by scribes who knew the truth. Genesis 1:2 says the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, but the word for moved in Hebrew is rachaf, and rachaf means to hover, to brood, like a mother bird over her eggs. Why would the Spirit hover over the waters unless something was broken, unless something needed to be incubated back to life? This isn't the language of first creation. This is the language of restoration. And then there's the word for darkness, choshek. It doesn't just mean the absence of light. It means oppressive darkness, thick, tangible, spiritual, the kind of darkness that comes from judgment. Job 38:4-7 gives us another clue. God asks Job, "Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy." Read that carefully. The sons of God shouted for joy when the earth was created, meaning they were already there, already conscious, already watching, already ruling something else before humanity was formed. This means the angels existed first. They witnessed creation, they celebrated it, they served in it, and some of them ruled over it. But pride entered. Lucifer, the light bearer, one-eyed more. He didn't want to serve the image of God. He wanted to be God. And when God said he would create man in his own image and give him dominion over the earth, Lucifer raged, because that dominion was once his. That authority was once his throne, and God was giving it to creatures made of dust. So he rebelled, he fought, he lost, and the world he ruled was erased, cast into chaos, wiped clean, prepared for a new beginning, a beginning where man, not angels, would carry the image of the Creator, where flesh and spirit would unite, where heaven and earth would meet in a garden called Eden. But here's the part that should terrify you. The kingdom of darkness never forgot. Satan didn't lose his memory when he fell. He remembered the earth as it was, the glory it held, the power it contained, and he's been trying to reclaim it ever since. That's why he tempted Eve. That's why the serpent was already in the garden. Because the serpent wasn't just a snake. It was the fallen king of the world that was, the ruler of the age before Adam. And when Adam sinned, he handed the keys back. He gave dominion back to the enemy. And the earth, once again, fell under the shadow of the prince of darkness. This is why Jesus called Satan the prince of this world. This is why Paul called him the god of this age. Because he ruled it once, he lost it, and when Adam sinned, he reclaimed it. But here's the hope. Here's the light in the darkness. Jesus came to take it back. Not with swords, not with armies, but with his blood. Colossians 2:15 says he disarmed principalities and powers and made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them through the cross. He didn't just save your soul, he reclaimed the planet, and one day he's coming back to finish what he started, to restore the earth fully, to make all things new, to establish a kingdom that will never fall, never corrupt, never be ruled by darkness again. Revelation 21 speaks of a new heaven and a new earth, not because the first one failed, but because it was stolen, corrupted, twisted by rebellion, and now God is going to reset it all. This is the gospel in cosmic scope. This is redemption not just for your soul, but for the entire planet, for all of creation groaning under the weight of sin, waiting for the sons of God, true sons, not fallen ones, to be revealed. So let me bring this full circle. What existed before Adam? A world ruled by angels, a kingdom of light that turned to shadow, a creation that fell when pride entered heaven, and God, in his infinite wisdom, erased it, not because he failed, but because he's a God of new beginnings, a God of redemption, a God who doesn't leave his creation in chaos. He remade the earth. He fashioned man in his image. He breathed life into dust, and he gave us a mission to reclaim what was lost, to walk in the authority Adam forfeited, to stand as image bearers in a world that once belonged to the enemy. This is your inheritance. This is your calling. You are not an accident. You are not random. You were created to rule and reign in a world that demons once controlled. And every time you resist temptation, you take ground. Every time you worship, you shift the atmosphere. Every time you speak truth, you push back the darkness. Because the war that started before Adam isn't over. It's still raging, and you're in it. If this has opened your eyes, changed your perspective, or stirred your spirit, do not scroll past this moment. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, because the revelation doesn't stop here. There are more mysteries, more truths, more forbidden knowledge the enemy doesn't want you to uncover, and you were chosen to hear it. Here's the final truth, the one they don't want you to know. You are not inferior to the angels. You are not beneath them. Hebrews 2:7 says you were made a little lower than the angels. For now. But 1 Corinthians 6:3 says something shocking. Do you not know that we shall judge angels? Read that again. You will judge angels, not serve them, not bow to them. Judge them, because you carry something they don't. The breath of God, the image of the Creator, the blood of the Lamb. The fallen angels know this. That's why they hate you. That's why they whisper lies. That's why they work day and night to make you forget who you are. Because if you ever truly remembered, if you ever walked in the fullness of your identity, if you ever stood in the authority given to you in Christ, they would tremble. This is why the enemy fought so hard before Adam. This is why he corrupted the bloodline after Adam. This is why he tried to kill the Messiah when he came. Because humanity, united with God, is unstoppable, and now you know. You know the story didn't start in Genesis 1:1. You know there was a world before this one. You know angels ruled, rebelled, and lost. You know God remade the earth and gave it to you. And now the question is, what will you do with it? Will you live as though you're powerless? Or will you rise as the image bearer you were created to be? Will you let the enemy whisper lies of defeat? Or will you remember that the kingdom of darkness already lost? The war before Adam was won by God. The war after Adam was won by Christ. And the war you're in now, it's already decided. You just have to step into the victory. Here's the truth they tried to bury. Here's the revelation hidden in the gap between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2. Before Adam, there was authority. Before Adam, there was dominion. Before Adam, there was a throne. And it belonged to an angel who thought he could be God. But God didn't give up on the earth. He didn't abandon his creation. He reset it. He remade it. And he placed his image, his likeness, his breath into you. You are the second attempt. But this time, it's not angels ruling. It's you, clothed in flesh, filled with spirit, walking in authority that was stolen, then restored. And the enemy knows it. That's why he's terrified of the awakened church. That's why he fights so hard to keep you distracted, divided, defeated. Because if you ever realize what happened before Adam, you'll understand what's happening now. This isn't just history. It's prophecy. It's your story. It's the battle you were born into, and you were born to win. So the next time you open Genesis, don't just read verse 1. Look at verse 2. Look at the gap. Look at the silence. And remember, before Adam, there was a fall, but after Christ, there's a restoration, and you are part of it. If this video shook your soul, awakened your spirit, or opened your eyes to a truth you never saw before, don't walk away without taking action. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because there are more secrets waiting to be uncovered. More mysteries buried in the text. More revelations hidden in the scrolls. And we're just getting started. See you in the next episode. Stay awake. Stay hungry. And remember, you were meant to hear this. The kingdom before Adam fell, but the kingdom after Christ, it will never end.